Among them, our correspondent Gulliver Cragg, who's in the Hungarian capital for us this Saturday. Gulliver, tell us what's happening where you are today.
The party is in full swing on Andres, the street behind me. I think that you can see people are dancing in the street. It is extremely hot, 38 degrees or more, but there is a bit of a breeze which is taking the edge off it and I think making it a bit more bearable. Organisers told me that they expect there to be even more people this year than there were last year. 200,000 people came last year in protest against Viktor Orbán's attempts to stop it from taking place. It was eventually authorised last year by the mayor of Budapest as a long-time supporter of LGBTQ+ rights, using a legal loophole, which meant that he was later charged for that. Those charges were lifted after Péter Magyar took office. Péter Magyar, the Prime Minister himself, is not attending this march as the mayor of Budapest is, but nevertheless, he had absolutely no hesitation in allowing it. So there's a big police presence, also ensuring security as well as medical professionals on hand if people get too hot. People I spoke to, the prevailing message that they seem to want to put across is that last year it was a protest and this year it's more of a celebration. They really feel like a new era has started, and one woman said that she really thinks that it's actually not just the politics that's changed, but Hungary itself that's changing the mentalities and attitudes of Hungarian people.
And Viktor Orbán was, of course, a far-right nationalist, Péter Magyar, an avowed conservative. Just how LGBTQ-friendly is Hungary's new Prime Minister? Do we know yet?
Yes, Péter Magyar was in Viktor Orbán's Fidesz party until he broke ranks only a couple of years before becoming Prime Minister. During the election campaign, he was really silent on this issue, refusing to be drawn, and people were wondering whether that meant because really he was just going to be more or less the same as Orbán because he had those conservative views and held them sincerely himself, or whether or not this was tactics, because he realised that in the election he needed to try to get as many votes from former Viktor Orbán voters as possible, and even from people who vote for parties even further to the right, which are the only opposition that entered Parliament House, but a completely right-wing parliament, Péter Magyar. And so you could understand why during the election campaign perhaps he thought that it was better not to bring these issues to the fore. That meant that people were actually quite pleasantly surprised when Péter Magyar took office and immediately made a speech in which he said that nobody should be stigmatised because of who they love. And then just last week, during a heated debate in Parliament, where members of far-right parties were arguing against adoption by same-sex couples, Péter Magyar said that we've got so many children that need to be adopted. Isn't it better if those couples adopt them rather than that they remain orphans or end up in much worse families? And so all that suggested that he really is kind of on side. And the people I've spoken to today seem to now be feeling very optimistic about Péter Magyar's politics going forward towards the LGBTQ+ community. But in fact, he hasn't accompanied these declarations with any legislative initiatives so far, and he hasn't attended this march. So it remains to be seen, really, whether that optimism is well placed or not.
Gulliver Cragg reporting from Budapest. Thank you very much.